Dami natin, no? Yeah, good afternoon and happy Sabbath to everyone. So, we have a long weekend, no? Medyo mahaba-haba pa yung weekend natin. Kasi Monday po is our barangay election. Right? Every 3 years po yan, di ba? Every 3 years ba? Anyone of us running here as a barangay official? How about our relatives? May relatives ba na kayo running? Wala. I remember way back during the old worldwide days, there was a rule that they discourage members for running for public office. At the same time, for participating in the suffrage in election. You know. So, how many of us are voting on Monday? Yeah. Okay naman yan. Okay, I think it is our duty as a citizen of the Philippine Republic, okay, to cast our votes, okay, and choose our leaders. Itong barangay election, actually this is interesting, and I think the concept behind the barangay, which is the grassroots governance, is a fantastic idea. Because here, basically, in the community sa barangay, everybody knows everybody. Okay, so this is sort of a community. So if you have new people coming into the barangay, at least you know them, okay, and you get to interact with them. And this kind of government, I think it's good because this is at the lowest level of our governance, okay, and in concept-wise is that things should be resolved at that particular level, easily and much faster. Actually, the barangay captain, though it is part of the lower-ranking government structure, I think they with a lot of power. Okay, unique siya. When you look at their roles, they have. Kasi ngayon, when you go to the top, there's a separation of powers. You have the executive, you have the legislative or judicial, and then you also have the police power. But this barangay captain, they have the judiciary, they have the civil, they also have the police power. That is under them. Okay, kaya in terms of power within that small community, parang siyang absolute, no? Kasi you hold those three offices or functions at one particular time. That is why the election of the barangay captain is very important. Of course, the barangay captain, they report to the vice mayor, right? Hindi naman mayor, it goes to the vice mayor. And if the concept is that if the community is well managed by the barangay captain, and all the barangay captain under the mayorship, okay, or that town or city are managed well, then you have a very nice, peaceful, and a thriving community. So that's a fantastic idea. Having said that, when you look at the form of government of God in the Bible, God is a theocracy. Okay, so what do you mean by theocracy? God is supposed to be the king. When you look at the account of the Bible, uh, during the time of the Exodus, ang bossing dun si Moses, right? And of course his brother Aaron, who is the priest. But Moses, he talked to God on a regular basis. And if there is a situation that he cannot handle, he would go to and have audience with God. And God would tell him what to do. Okay? So that was basically the structure. It was God governing over the people. Okay? And after the death of Moses, Joshua took his place. Okay, so the same structure of theocracy applies. After they have conquered the promised land, after they have entered into the promised land, and the land being divided to the families of the 12 tribes of Israel, still the theocracy works for them. And that's how you go into the period of the Judges. Okay, the period of the Judges is the period in between the conquer of the promised land and the appointment of a king in the territory. Okay, you know who's the first king of Israel? Alam natin po yan, di ba? Hindi niyo alam? King Saul yun, or King Saul as we would call him. But there is this intervening period na wala po sa Israel po walang hari. Okay? And this is the period what is in the Bible called as the period of the Judges. So each tribe, would have a leader or a judge, they call it, or a hero, right? That would come up and guide and lead the people. And this is the period where you have the Gideon, okay, and Samson and all the other judges, okay. And usually in the structure of God, God being the head, okay, so the elder of the family, they became priests of God. Okay, especially mga firstborn. So now, since they are the firstborn, they are the elders, they now govern the tribe. Kasi yung tribe, yung tribo, it's just simply an expansion of the family. Di po ba? Okay, like si Mang Miguel. Kapag may isang dosen na anak mo yan, okay, and the 12 children of Mang Miguel will have their own children. So after a couple of generations, you might have, thousands upon thousands in one of those families. Okay, and the head of the family, okay, the elder of the family will become the ruler, so to speak, of that particular clan. And that was how it was structured during the time of the Judges. Okay. And after the period of the Judges, of course, you have a prophet of God, who would come into the scene, and he would go to the houses or the 12 tribes, and he would somehow, give them guidance, and he will somehow rule over them. That is why Samuel, who is a prophet of God, he has civil, religious, and military power as well. Samuel. And during the time of Samuel, the people clamored. The people clamored that they wanted a king. Okay, so let's go to Samuel, 1 Samuel, chapter 8. 1 Samuel, the 8th chapter. So we read here that when Samuel grew old, nung nakaedad na po si propeta na si Samuel, he appointed his sons as judges for Israel. Okay? The name of the firstborn was Joel, and the name of his secondborn was Abihab. And they served at Beer Sheba. But his sons did not walk in his ways. Okay? Medyo corrupt ng konti. They turned aside after dishonest gain and accepted bribes and perverted justice. Okay? So all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah. And they said to him, "You are old, sir." Okay? Prophet Samuel, you are old, and your sons do not walk in your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have. So Samuel now has a predicament. He used to, rule over these people. And he stand in the place of God. And when he was old, he appointed his two sons. But the two sons were corrupt. Okay? They perverted justice and accepted bribes. Sounds very familiar, right? So the people came to Samuel and asked that they be led by a king. So, see, we cannot trust your children. Both of them are not walking in your ways. So, but they said, "Give us a king to lead us." And this displeased Samuel, so he prayed to the Lord. Of course, as a father, he was not happy about it, that the people had rejected his children to succeed him. So he approached God and prayed to God. And the Lord told him, "Listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you they have rejected, but they have rejected me as their king." Okay? "As they have done from the day I brought them out of Egypt until this day." So far until this time, it was God who has been guiding them. But during the time of the judges, the people already have abandoned God. Time pa ng judges yan. And that's why they were, being oppressed by the neighbors. So they did not trust God because they were looking at the two sons of Samuel. But they did not trust God enough because God could have done something with them. But they didn't trust God enough, so they asked Samuel that they have their own human leader. So, can we go back to verse 8? "As they have done from the day I brought them out of Egypt until this day, forsaking me and serving other gods, so they are doing to you." Say, now listen to them. Listen to them. Consider what they're telling you. But warn them solemnly and let them know when the king who will reign over them will do. Say, hey, okay, this is what he will do. If you want a king, a human leader, okay, yes, you can have him, but there will be consequences to you. So what are these consequences? Samuel told all the words of the Lord to the people who were asking him for a king. He said, "This is what a king who will reign over you will do. He will take your sons and make them serve with his chariots and horses." Tama ba? So there will be an enlistment. So your sons will be enlisted into the military. Okay? And they will run in front of his chariots. Okay? Anong ibig sabihin yan? Okay? They will conscript soldiers and your sons will be enlisted. They will be the front line for the king. Sabi niya, sila yung front runner, it's a front liner. Okay, they will be the first one to go into battle. Some he will assign to be commanders of thousands and commanders of 50, and others to plow his ground and reap his harvest, and still others to make weapons of war and equipment for his chariots. Actually, we see this, right? And this is actually happening. Ano ba? He will take your daughters to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. He will take the best of your fields and vineyards and olive groves and give them to his attendants. We see all of these things. Yeah. As long as there is a human leader, okay, and the leaders are up there, the rest of us will become the servants. Like what this is talking about. And then continue. He will take a tenth of your grain and of your vintage and give it to his officials and attendants. Okay. Your men servants and maid servants and the best of your cattle and donkey he will take for his own use. He will take a tenth of your flocks, and you yourself will become his slaves. When that day comes, you will cry out for relief from the king you have chosen, and the Lord will not answer you in that day. Now, so what had happened? He said, okay, you want a king? Fine. But be ready to serve him. You, your sons, and your manservants and your maidservants. And he will take possession of your property, and you are going to pay him a tax. 10% of all the produce. So makakaroon ka ng taxation. And they gave 10% to the king. But the people refused to listen to Samuel. No, they said, we want a king over us. Then we will be like all the other nations, with a king to lead us and to go out before us and fight our battles. When Samuel heard all that the people said, he repeated it before the Lord. The Lord answered, listen to them and give them a king. Then Samuel said to the men of Israel, everyone go back to his own town. Okay. So this is the instance, wherein the governance of Israel changed from a theocracy, okay, to a monarchy. So naging king rulership. And this is the start eventually of the taxation of Israel. And you will notice that during the time when during the time of David, David taxed the people. He levied huge taxation on the people because he built his palace, he built the temple of God. Okay. And when his son came in, okay, the son also wanted to tax. The people came, to ask for tax relief, and he refused. Remember that particular story, and that's how. That's where the taxation actually comes in. Okay? Because the government, the civil government, somehow would require funds that is separate and distinct from the tithes that's given to the temple. Okay? So now the people are now paying tithes at the same time paying taxes. Okay, for the governments of the civil government. God knew this from day one. Alam na God yan. That is what actually happened. Okay? Why do I say that? Because it's written in Deuteronomy chapter 17. Let's go back a few books from Samuel to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 17. This chapter 17 is quite interesting. This is a command concerning the judges. Okay. If we start from verse 16. Command concerning the leaders. Deuteronomy chapter 16. Start from, and let's read from verse 18. So of course today we have the judiciary, right? Yung Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, the regional courts, di ba? And of course you have your barangay captain who do this minor judging, right? At the barangay level. And you say that appoint judges and officials for each of your tribes in every town the Lord your God is giving you. And they will judge their people fairly. So, parang sa barangay captain, di ba? Okay. Do not pervert justice or show partiality. So, ito yung direction diyan. If you're a judge, you have to be a rightful judge. And you do not show partiality. Walang favoritism. Kamakanan ko yan, okay yan. You know, walang kasalanan yan. You cannot do that. Do not accept a bribe. For a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and twists the words of the righteous. So, hindi po pwedeng maging corrupt na judge. Follow justice and justice alone. Okay? Yun ang command. That is the directive. So that you may live and possess the land the Lord your God is giving you. Do not set up any wooden asherah pole beside the altar you build to the Lord your God. And do not erect a sacred stone for these the Lord your God hates. Okay. Now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 17. Let's go to verse 8. Yeah. So you have these judges, right? So you have all of these judges. Okay? And sometimes these judges, there are cases na masyadong mabigat para sa kanila. Kasi these are, the tribes. Okay? So what do? If they have bigger cases, so to speak. And this was the instruction given by God to Moses, for the people entering into the promised land. Said, if cases come before your courts that are too difficult for you to judge, okay, yung mga complicated na kaso, so to speak, okay, like what? Whether bloodshed, homicide, tsaka murder, lawsuits or assaults, take them to the place the Lord your God will choose. Go to the priest. Okay, so they need now go to the priests, who are Levites, and to the judge who is in the office at that particular time. Inquire of them, and they will give you the verdict. Okay. Bakit priests or the Levites, who will now sit as judge? Because they know the law. Kabisado po nila yung batas. Okay, which is basically the 5 books of the Torah. Okay? Yun ang the law. Okay? Because when you say about the law, akala na natin 10 commandments lang. Exodus chapter 20. Hindi yan. It's Exodus chapter 20 to 23. That is basically the law. Statutes yun eh. You know, yung 20 to 23, basically those are the statutes. So, go to the priests who are Levites and to the judge who is in the office at that time. Inquire of them and they will give you the verdict. You must act according to the decisions they give you at the place the Lord will choose. Be careful to do everything they direct you to do. So, whatever is the decision of the Levi judge, yun na yun. Okay? Don't contest it. Just follow it. Okay? Act according to the law they teach you and the decision they give you. Do not turn aside from what they tell you, to the right or to the left. Okay, whatever they tell you to do, you do it. Don't question it, because that is the right and just decision. The man who shows contempt for the judge or the priest who stands ministering there to the Lord, your God, must be put to death. You must purge the evil from Israel. So, the judge, the priest or the Levite, sitting as judge, they have the authority of God. If you don't listen to them, you don't follow their judgment, you are now opposing God. Okay? And what did they do with them? They are to be purged. You know, evil out of Israel. All the people will hear and be afraid and will not be contemptuous again. Okay. So that is as far as the judges are concerned. And the local officials, the barangay captain, he has this particular power. Okay. So the other power of the barangay captain would be the civil, aside from the police power. Okay. Tayo naman is that when we elect a new government official or a new administration like the President of the Philippines or the President of the United States of America, you know, they are usually sworn into office, right? Right? Have you seen the inaugural of the presidents? Right? They are sworn into office. So what do? They bring the Bible, right? Usually done by a Chief Justice, and the President will swear by the Bible. Right? But how many actually rule according to the Bible? Medyo okay, di ba? And you will only rule according to the scripture, to the Bible, where you are sworn in, if you understand what the Bible says. Right? So how can you rule or lead the people according to the Bible if you are not familiar with the Bible? Right? But people go there and swear by the Bible without knowing the content of the scripture. Right? Now, at this particular time, how many books, okay, I'm talking about as this particular time, okay, how many books were written? The time of Samuel, when Samuel anointed Saul as king, how many books of the Bible had been written? 5. Written by Moses into scrolls. 5 yan. Okay? So how do you rule the country if you're a king? Like King Saul or King David. How do you rule the country? You know, in accordance with God's words. That is why this is written here. And this was when they were out in the wilderness. Nasa wilderness pa ito because this is Deuteronomy. This is the second giving of the law. This was written and given to the people, spoken to the people, rehearsed with the people, written down by Moses for the people, even before they enter into the promised land. Okay? And this is what was written. I want you to find out, this one is interesting, is that, people, or that the presidency usually are sorted. At least in the US and here in the Philippines. I don't know any other countries. Okay? They sort into the office, by the Bible. Okay? So, we expect them to rule us according to the principles laid down in the Bible. Right? And there's this particular instruction, and if we can follow this instruction, okay? And I think all the officials, from the barangay captain up to the president of the country, and if everybody just follow this, I think we will be a better country. Okay? And we will be tremendously blessed by God. Deuteronomy 17 and starting from verse 14. When you enter the land the Lord your God is giving you, di ba sila nakapasok? Di ba say na when you enter, kapag nakapasok na po kayo, right? The land that God is giving you and have taken possession of it and settled in it. And you say, let us set a king over us, like all the nations around us. This was written almost 350 years prior to the anointing of King Saul. Okay? This was written. God knew that one day they will require, or they will request, for a king to rule over them. And they will reject God as their king. And they will ask for a human leader. He said, and when that day happens, okay, and you say, let us set a king over us like all the nations around us. Okay? God said, be sure to appoint over you the king the Lord your God chooses. Okay. So what do you mean the king your God chooses? Okay. You want to appoint someone or elect someone or select or choose someone who is after God's own heart. Right? He said, he must be from among your own brothers. Hindi po pwedeng foreigner to rule over you. It has to be your own brothers, your own blood. He must be an Israelite. Right? Do not place a foreigner over you, one who is not a brother Israel. Okay? The king, moreover, must not acquire great number of horses for himself, or make the people return to Egypt to get more of them. For the Lord has told you, you are not to go back that way. So, don't allow your people, or the people, or God said, my people, to return back to Egypt. You left Egypt. Okay? Don't go back. Right? And you don't need so many horses. The king, moreover, must not acquire great number of horses for himself, or make the people return to Egypt to get more of them. Verse 17. He must not take many wives. Oh. Okay? Ang problema dito, alam mo sino? Si Solomon. Masyadong maraming asawa. Okay? Si David, marami niyang asawa. Okay? Si Solomon, sobra. Okay? Ilang wives? How many concubines? 700 wives and 300 concubines. Yan ba? O baliktad? O 300 wives and 700 concubines. Basta total 1,000. Okay? He must not take many wives. O, kayo ha? Kaya yung mga barangay captain na maraming asawa, ha? Don't vote for them. Tsaka, ang bagong kabayo ngayon, kotse. Right? Am I correct? Yeah. Kaya yung barangay captain nyo, running for barangay captain na maraming kotse, ha? Don't vote for them. Joke lang yan. Okay. Okay. Ito, tama ito ha. Kung maraming asawa yung barangay captain, you don't want to vote for him. Bakit? May moral issue tayo dyan, di ba? Oh. He must not take many wives. What do you mean by many wives? How many is many? Okay. Isang dosena, marami yan, di ba? What do you mean by many? Yeah. More than one is too many. Okay? Baka captain eh, may asawa na, okay? May number 2 at may kirita pa, di ba? Or his heart will be led astray. He must not accumulate large amounts of silver and gold. Okay? When he takes the throne of his kingdom, he is to write for himself on a scroll a copy of this law. Ito yung requirement. Okay? If the king comes into his office, okay, the first thing that he will do is what? Take the book of the law. Okay? This law. What is this law? This can refer to all the 5 books. You know, or it can refer just only to the book of Deuteronomy. You know, even if they copy only the book of the Deuteronomy, that would be fantastic. Because all the laws are in here. Okay? Second edition of the law yan. Okay? Second edition of the law. And it is not so difficult to copy. You know why? Because it is a short 34 chapter book. Ganito lang, oh. Okay? Ganito lang. It is not difficult to copy. See? Ito lang. Okay? Eh, wala pa silang notebook nun eh. Okay? Kaya, scroll. Parchment yan. Ha? Hindi sa bato. Sa scroll. Okay? Ito ha. He takes the throne of his kingdom. He is to write for himself. So, he cannot ask somebody to write it for him. He has to write it himself. Okay? On a scroll, copy of this book, taken from that of the priests who are Levites. Yung original, dapat ang kunin nila. So, dapat pumunta sila sa sardote, sa priest, kunin nila yung scroll of the Deuteronomy, and he will copy it. Word by word, sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph. Okay? Why he has to write it? Why he needs to copy it? So that he will understand each particular word in it. Okay? He will have to copy it. Yan ang importante. Okay? So he needs to internalize the laws of God. And when he copies, he will understand what the law requires. What the law is all about. Okay? Ano yung law? Ano yung 10 Commandments? Ano yung statutes? Okay? Ano yung heart and mind of God? The king has to copy for himself. Okay, a copy of the law. It is to be with him, and he is to read it all the days of his life, so that he may learn to revere the Lord his God and follow carefully all the words of this law and these decrees. Biro mo? So, after copying, okay, yung original, ibabalik niya sa Levites, sa pare, sa priest, and the copy that he write with his own hands, okay, he will keep that. And he is to read that all the days of his life. Okay, hindi lang yan nakatago. Dapat yan basahin regularly while he is king, so that he may learn to revere the Lord his God and to follow carefully all the words of this law and this decree, so that he may rule, okay, the people, God's people, according to the laws and the statutes and all the judgments given by God. Di ba maganda yan? Okay? Si Tita Mayen will sponsor a bill in Congress, right? That everybody will do this. You know, all the government officials will copy the book of the Deuteronomy. And the king should not consider himself better than his brothers, and turn from the law to the right or to the left. Then he and his descendants will reign a long time over his kingdom in Israel. This one is very true. Because a lot of people, once they come into power, okay, they think that they are above the law. So, if you are above the law doesn't apply to you, okay? You can go to the left, you can go to the right. Why? Because you are not guided by a moral principle anymore. Right? So, in here it says that once you have the law, you copied it, you internalized it, you read it all the days of your life. He is your companion throughout your kingship. Stay with the law and do not vary. Okay? Do not turn to the left or sway to the left, and do not sway to the right. Okay? Always abide by the law. Then he, the king and his descendants, will reign a long time over his kingdom in Israel. Okay? Ano ba ba? Wala na, no? Yeah, that's it. Okay. So, I think these are, it's very wise. Okay? Practice, I would say. It's not an advice, it's a practice. Apparently, people don't do this anymore. Right? Do this anymore. But we have this. And I believe sincerely is that, if a leader would follow this, irrespective of the branch of government or the position of government that he is in, and if he follows, what was prescribed by God through Moses, he'll be a good leader. No? What do you think? If he copies the law, and he reads it every day, and he governs, by it, I think he will be a fantastic leader. What do you think? He will be, right? Okay. So, I think this is, every 3 years we have an election, di ba? 3 years yan, di ba? You 6 years, you have the national election for the presidency, and then you have every 3 years you have your midterm election. But the barangay election is just in between, di ba? Every 3 years. I think it's also it's also every 3 term lang yan, 3 term lang yan, di ba? 3 term lang ang barangay captain, di ba? Oo. 3 term lang barangay captain yun. Okay? So after 3 term, ang barangay captain, they will come down to konsehal. Okay? So after the konsehal, they go back to become a captain. Na? Ay, hindi na ba?
Konsehal ng bayan.
Oo. Some people, they go, some people, they go to the, konsehal na talaga, di ba? City councilor na yan. So, especially those with the bigger barangay, no? Okay. So, well, it's interesting that we have the election coming Monday, and I thought it was appropriate, a good time for us to talk about governance. So with that, happy Sabbath to everyone.